Well, our manifesto sets it out clearly: our lives, our jobs, our future. Our lives, because COVID-19 is a live threat. We are here in a stable position, but the problem is far from over. It's going to last quite a long time. It's quite a dangerous problem, and we must be vigilant, and we must have the government ready to respond, and we must have a population strongly cooperating with the government with the various measures so that we keep ourselves safe. Secondly, our jobs. Because COVID-19 has generated a very deep recession, our jobs are at risk. We've protected our jobs through drastic Herculean measures, 4 budgets, $100 billion. But the worst is yet to come. Up to now, unemployment has been kept quite low. Income impact on people, not so bad. Businesses, some losses, but not so bad. But it's going to get worse before it gets better. And we have to be able to protect the jobs and keep our economy intact so that we can recover again and people can see through this time. Thirdly, our future. One day, COVID-19 will pass, the recession will be over, we will move on, and we want to move on to our goal of a better Singapore, a transformed society, an economy, and a better life for all. And that means plans, that means resolution, that means resourcefulness and unity to navigate the uncertainty and to go through together. That requires leadership from the government and unity and support from the people, which underlies all three things: lives, jobs, future.
Well, I think the first issue has to be jobs, 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 but not just any job. Government has announced that they are looking at 100,000 new jobs and traineeship placements. I think a lot of Singaporeans have asked me, Mr. Singh, which of these jobs are going to really propel Singapore into another league? A number of jobs will be created, I'm sure. A second issue related to this is those jobs that are created, do we see a skills transfer to Singaporeans over time, especially for the high-end jobs? So certainly this is something that will keep on repeating itself as we move forward in the next few months. Apart from jobs, let's look at the decade going forward. This particular decade, we will see the doubling of our elderly population from 450,000 to 900,000 Singaporeans. It will change the complexion of Singapore society, and for our seniors, it is very important that the government of the day is on top of the issues that are affecting them. In the WP manifesto, we have talked about more flexible MediSave usage, reducing the expenditure, the cost of living expenditure for Singaporean seniors. And that will be something we will have to press very hard in Parliament. And certainly things of a different nature, like for example, if people still want to work, how can we help them reduce their cost of living? So one proposal has been free public transport for Singaporeans above the age of 65 and for all Singaporeans with disabilities. And this really comes to try, it's really an attempt from the Workers' Party to make us a more compassionate society. And I think that's very critical. I believe very strongly in this, and this is going to be one of the points that we'll push quite hard in Parliament. I beg your pardon. Finally, of course, a big issue in this election will be how strong a mandate does the government need in Parliament. And our view is with 21 candidates, anything up to 1/3 of opposition in Parliament will still give the government a very strong mandate to run its policies. But what the people will have is a strong check in government, which, number one, will allow the government to continue to function, and number two, it will also ensure that the voices of the public are heard.
I see the main issue in this current election is COVID-19. How we manage COVID-19 would determine our future. For example, if we don't manage the COVID-19 properly, I want to believe that what we want, like all the investors to come in, the tourists, all these people to come in, will not be realized. Because they are watching how we manage COVID, and if let's say the numbers are high, I don't think all these attempts to want to get people to come here, and also along with it, the jobs, the investment will not be happening because there's no confidence in the way we are managing this COVID. And without confidence, there will be no trust. How are they going to trust that when they send those people over here to come and help in the companies, they won't come. So so it's, to me, the priority actually is COVID-19. So the others are all following how you manage COVID-19. And honestly, I feel that if we were to take our eye off this, on COVID-19, and concentrate on just jobs, I'm not so sure whether that will be good or not. I'm thinking of lives and livelihood, which is a very, very important aspect of our future. And how we are going to manage our lives, for example, how we are going to manage our economy, all this really depend on this global activity that could be generated as a result of a good control of this COVID-19. And at the moment, I see that our over-concentration on the other aspects may not be very proper. You have lost sight of the disease. You're only managing the symptoms.
I think the top issue right now, people are very concerned with the jobs, and rightly so, because of the pandemic that's just broken out and caused, given the economy, a big whack. And because of this, retrenchment has become a huge topic, and that's why we think it's important for us to be talking about and pushing to introduce a retrenchment benefit scheme. And something like that that we're proposed in this election is for retrenched workers to receive a payout of 75% of the last drawn salary, capped at medium wage, in the first 6 months, and 50% in the second 6 months, and 25% in the final 6 months. So something like that will just give retrenched workers something to work on even as the bills pile up and the income stops. And related to that, of course, is job creation, right? Retrenched workers need to find re-employment. And one of the things that we've found really important is that to have some kind of a program for retrenched workers to come together. And we're proposed that if you can actually find similarly retrenched workers and able to come up with a viable business plan, then the government should allow them to withdraw these payouts in one lump sum so that they can go out and start a cooperative enterprise. And this will just get them back into the economy as productive members. The third issue that we've been very concerned about is related to this issue as well, and that is the ongoing influx of foreign PMETs. Singaporeans, either the unemployment has been going up in the last few years. Underemployment is also a huge problem over here. And you have these issues where we're not against foreign workers coming in. What we have a problem with is that when these foreign workers come in, they're most of the time employed because they're able to afford these lower wages that Singaporeans cannot survive on. And if that's the case, then you're talking about wages being suppressed. And that's continues to be a problem with our local workers, Singaporean workers, and I think something needs to be done about this before it really gets, the situation gets from bad to worse.